Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Locker Room Podcast, our weekly show where we shine a light on all of the kids here in our Bayou region related to all of the sports they may play, even some of the extracurriculars they get into. And we just want to make sure those kids get the attention they deserve. I am Stan Gravois. My counterpart is Dustin Robichaux. He is the graphic designer here at Terrebonne General and is good enough to put all of this stuff together. How are you, my friend, on this another cold Monday morning?
Another cold Monday morning, and happy Groundhog Day, Stan.
Well, that makes sense. Today is Groundhog's Day. As a matter of fact, I have heard that it's going to continue to be cold already.
Yes.
So what does that mean? Did he see a shadow? Or
Yes,
not?
if he sees his shadow, that means we got, was it 6 more weeks of winter?
Well, that's exactly what happened this morning.
Yeah.
Because as I was coming into work, I was listening to a program that said that it did happen, and it's been pretty cold the last couple of weeks. I
It
mean,
has been.
so obviously no snow, no ice, so we're thankful for that. It's just strange that baseball and softball season are starting in our area. That is wild to me. Can you imagine? You know, we're sitting this morning at 29 degrees, and those kids are going to be playing baseball later this week, which is a good segue to talk about what our show is about today. We actually have all of the baseball coaches from the Bayou region on our show this morning. Truth be known, they were here with us a little bit earlier at Media Day. And at Media Day, each of them spoke about what we might see from their baseball team this upcoming season. A lot of fun. Again, that's all of the coaches in Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish, both private and public schools. And I think you're going to get a kick out of what some of these guys had to say. I was even surprised by a few of the teams having more coming back than I thought they did, and some of those teams maybe trying to find those puzzle pieces and put them together early on. And I thought maybe they were in line already. The other thing we have is a real interesting, and I'll call it a coup. I'm not sure what you call it in the press world when you get a story, but we have the first sit-down interview with the new head football coach over at H.L. Bourgeois, Stanley Smith. Coach Smith comes into the area from Faraday High School. For you folks that know high school football, Faraday has been good as of late. He wasn't there last year, but he did take Faraday to the 2019 state championship. I think it's in AAA, and looks like H.L. Bourgeois got him a really good one. Had the opportunity to sit down with him and talk a little bit about what he expects over at H.L. Bourgeois, so I do think it's going to be a really good show. You mentioned Groundhog's Day. No other significant type days today?
Oh, we've got a few, Stan. It is also Play Your Ukulele Day.
How ironic, because yesterday I watched the latter parts of the Beatles anthology, and it was Paul McCartney and George Harrison sitting in the yard playing ukuleles. Do you own a ukulele?
I do not, but my wife owns a couple. Actually, I got her that for Christmas last year.
Awesome. Ukulele Day.
There you go.
I don't care. Ukulele has like 4 strings. I can't play any kind of, wish I would have learned music.
Stringed instruments?
Yes, yes. Nonetheless, it is cold out there, folks. Stay warm. Go out and support baseball, but wrap yourself up. And for you guys who are really into soccer, tomorrow, Tuesday, tune in to lhsaa.org. That is a site online, obviously, where you can find out where our local teams will be playing. Everybody in the Bayou region is going to make a bracket for soccer. So it makes it kind of easy for us to tell you this, except for Assumption. Assumption is in their first year of playing soccer. So basically, all you have to do is get out there and go to that site, and it will tell you exactly where your favorite high school is playing soccer in the playoffs. 32 teams in each of the divisions get in, and it's basically everybody except for 1 or 2 teams in each division that don't make it. So everybody's going to be in. You may have to get on the road, you may have to travel, and you may have to play in sleet and snow, but you will be in the soccer brackets. With that being said, let's get to those baseball interviews. Again, we talked to all of the baseball coaches in the local area about what we might expect this 2026 season. This is going to be in alphabetical order by school. So first up is Central Lafourche. Here we go. Todd Martin, Central Lafourche Baseball.
Oh, look, that's obviously our strong point on the mound was last year, and this year there's no change. We threw 200 innings last year. We're returning 120 innings, so we're very experienced there, and that's going to be our strong suit. We got 7 seniors. Yeah, we lost 12 seniors last year, but only 3 of them were real starters for the most part of the year. We're going to be asking a lot from some sophomores this season, some juniors, and obviously we got a handful of seniors going to play a big part in our success. We just stress more consistency, get back to the fundamentals, proper way to catch ground balls, how we need to throw the ball, all those other things. That's one thing we really focused on this offseason. A lot of selfish baseball at the plate last year, and that was one of our goals going into the season, to fix those, our mindset, our approach. We hired a new hitting coach this year, which is Josh Smith. Former head coach.
Sure.
Was at CCA last year, has been around success.
HL Bourgeois.
Yeah, we was at HL, had some success there. And he's been very, very helpful. So
Very good.
things are starting to kind of trend in the right direction. The big benefit being at school, other than my personal time and financially, is you get to interact with your kids daily. You kind of check up more on them, stay on top of things, and just from a day-to-day operations, I get to talk to my bosses while I'm at Central, which I didn't get to do that at Terrebonne, which is nothing against them or me. It was just the situation we was in.
Correct.
So that's a plus. You could get more on the same page with everyone there, and it's a big plus being at school.
Butch Terrio, CCA baseball.
Well, coming off of the 36-1 season, man, it's just took a little time to digest that, and it was an amazing ride. We really enjoyed having, the best seats in the house to watch that team play and to perform the way they did, going all the way to the semifinals and having one pretty much bad inning. And we came out with a loss. And but it was tough to digest, and it took a little time. But digging in further, just about what we did accomplish last year was truly amazing. Just tribute to all our players and our coaches and our fans for that ride last year. But we going into this year, man, our attitude, it's a new birth. It's a new day. We just like to say maybe the names change, but the standard's still the same. So I would say this is a program team. This is a team that's kind of been in the program for years and years, and that we don't take that lightly on how we start our middle school program all the way up to where we got. So, we practice a lot better because of our guys been in the program. Not last year, we just don't sit in the dugout and watch guys like Mason Canner and Chevy Bourgeois and Carson Hebert and Brendan Champagne and all those guys go to work. We got to coach a little bit more this time, and which we love to do. That's why we like coaching. We like to coach guys up. So we're excited about actually, doing a little bit more coaching, more fundamental work, different approaches to how we do things. But man, like I said, the program's a program. It's been in place for a while. We need to grow. We need to grow up more with guys taking the next step up, improving their game. In order for us, I really doubt we're going to go 34-0 again, especially with the gauntlet of schedule that we play in. But I think we can make a deep run in the playoffs. And I think in order that to happen is just keep the same standards that we have in place. And let's stay out the big innings. I think that what you're going to see more this year than you probably would have saw last year is us manufacturing more runs than we did last year. Last year, like I said, we could sit on a bucket and, we kind of load the deal, and here comes Canner and here comes these guys, and man, they and Carson, and they got them in, and, we losing a lot of RBIs. So we're going to have to learn how to manufacture a lot. We were very stacked 1 through 9. And so we're going to have to develop that lower end of the lineup for sure.
Matt Plitt, E.D. White Catholic baseball.
It's going to be a little bit of a process, but I think we have enough returning guys that there's not too many puzzle pieces. I think we have a lot of guys, probably a range of 15 to 17 that actually could start varsity for us right now. So I guess the puzzle pieces of finding who's going to be the starting 9. But I think the pieces are there, just got to see where they fit. You got to take into account we got guys that are coming off injury that can't throw right now. So we have Charlie Dietrich. I don't know if he's going to be able to throw all year. So, kind of playing that apart. But there's a lot of puzzle pieces, but we just got to find the right 9. I think the biggest thing for us is, like I said, returning all those guys. I think that experience is going to be really good. And the freshman class, they were freshmen when we won a state championship, and they've been with us since then. And I think that's a really big key experience for us. I think it goes back to last year. I mean, we started off, I think, 0-7 at one point, and everybody was, hitting the panic button, and we ended at 17-17. And I think what we really got to get better on is being consistent. And our guys don't take it as being consistent as we got to get a hit this amount of times or even baseball skill, but being consistent on showing up every day and being the same person. At the end of the day, whether we won or lost, I just asked him, I said, you still have a chance to win a state championship? And it was always yes. So I said within our goal is still attainable. And so we just kept building on that. And I think that's, a big part of it.
Jamie Delahousse, Ellender Memorial Baseball.
Every year it's reteaching. I'm always trying to get in the hallways, try to get my numbers up as best as I can. It's definitely a challenge for sure, but the kids that we do get out there are trying to learn and everything. But I'm excited about this season though. I have 5 seniors, 4 that are going to be huge contributors this year, and 3 of them are my starting pitchers. I'm actually getting 1 back from an ACL injury from last season. This year, it has to be pitching. It can't be a want this year. It has to be pitching. We have 3 guys that we're going to count on. Dakota, of course, who's been with me for, it seems like 8 years almost, because I had the whole family come through. The Caden Guidry and Xavier Rodri. And Xavier's the one coming back from the ACL injury. Actually, our biggest thing, we're trying to find depth somewhere. Even if it's like just a pitch runner or something like that. So all these scrimmages and everything, I'm doing things that don't even make sense in baseball sometimes. But I'm trying to just give our guys opportunities and chances to show what they can do, showcase themselves, to give me a look and see if they can help the varsity. Still having to take buses to go to different places and stuff like that for weight room and stuff like that. But I can say I'm proud of the whole campus and how we're stepped up and we're all coming together, helping each other out and we're making it work. We're no longer in that phase of complaining about it. We know what we are, and we're doing our part, and we're just not making excuses.
Corey Sullivan, HL Bourgeois Baseball.
If you look at last year, the record I don't think was an indication of the program or the team. We played 7 state champions or semifinalists throughout the course of the year. And when we got in district, we were 500 and we beat some playoff teams. And the record's misleading a little bit, but, it was an experience for the young kids that are coming back to have played these good teams, and hopefully it pays off. We have a young group of kids that have been with me for a year now, and they understand the way practices are going to go. They understand the system, and look, a lot of them are going to be coming back after this season. So, the foundation is being laid, and I'm kind of excited about the future, even though this year could be a rebuilding year to a certain degree, but I'm excited about the future. Now, we still, have to tweak some things. We still got some pieces that we got to move around and figure out. But what I like is we have a lot of competition. And, when somebody's struggling, there's somebody else that's there to maybe step in and get the job done. So, anytime in baseball, when a kid gets complacent and they think they got a position won, well, guess what? Now we have somebody there that might be able to step up if you're struggling, to step in and play. For us to be successful, we have to get better in all 3 phases: at the plate, in the field, on the bases. And sometimes with young teams, the game speed is a little fast for them. And I think once we get accustomed and we start playing, I think through the course of the year, that's where we're going to start seeing steady improvements. But it's coming around, and we're going to keep working and see if we can get to where we need to be.
Chandler Guidros, South Lafourche Baseball.
We've had a lot of success in our 2 scrimmages with Centerville and HL Bourgeois. Defense has been standing out, defense and pitching. We have yet to commit an error in 13 innings, which for us, that's what we think is going to carry us, defense and pitching this year. And you look at that, we score 8 runs and 13 runs in those games too. So it's a good mix, and we got a lot of returning starters and the new guys we got coming in or performing up to that level. It's a good mix this year. We have Josh Mack returning, our catcher, all-district guy. Carter Colley was another big player for us, second-team all-district. Got 2 other juniors, seniors, Brock O'Gale, Jack Griffin, that are going to contribute a lot for us. And then the rest, it's a lot of sophomores. We're going to start 4 to 5 sophomores this year, but 2 of them started as freshmen last year and performed tremendously. Both were on that all-district list as well. So we kind of like the mix that we have coming. And what's good is getting those young guys that experience. It could turn over to some big years going down the line. I think we returned all but 2 guys. They got innings for us last year and a lot of big starting innings for us. So right now, I think we have 6 to 7 guys that could come in and eat up innings for us and do a tremendous job. A couple of guys that I think could really push for, sub 2 ERA type guys. And if you play defense behind that, we got to get used to that. Our quarterfinal teams, we were scoring 12 runs a game and hitting 20 home runs in a season. There's different ways to skin a cat. If you have good at bats, you move runners, you scratch enough, you play good defense and pitching behind that, you could still win a lot of games. We had a couple of years where I thought that we had shots to win state titles, and I think the thing that held us back was defense. So that's really what we're pushing. We think that if we could take care of the baseball, the sky's the limit for our baseball team this year.
Mike Barba, South Terrebonne baseball.
That's the end goal is, how far can we advance into the playoffs and kind of make a name for ourselves every single year around the state. And that's going to be another thing for us this year is we got to remake a name, because again, we're starting off as nobodies and we got to earn that respect year after year. And this is a program that's had history from 1962 when it started to now. And we're looking to just carry the tradition along to make the alumni proud that have come through. We've had some good days and we've had some days where we've taken steps back. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We've got a long way to go. This is going to be an inexperienced team. That is, I think we're going to return like 30% of our at-bats from last year and then 20-something% of our innings on the mound. Soccer's doing their thing right now, so it's kind of tough getting those guys back and getting in shape of, developing timing and all these things that you need to do on the baseball side of things. So we're really affected by the schedule the LHSA put out of moving our season up and not adjusting the other ones. I think it's really, I'm not making an excuse, please. Nobody understand, I'm not making excuses here because, we got to do what we got to do when it's time to do it. But we're affected because we have so many in soccer, and baseball is a failure sport to start out with. And the timing and stuff is just not there. And I think it showed last year how we kind of caught fire right there at the end. They're going to have a bunch of guys in new positions that are going to see a lot of this varsity action for the first time. We do have a good chunk that, did some spot playing last year. But when you're doing it every day against the level of competition that we have on the schedule, it's going to be a whole new world, because now you're adding in, not necessarily, having a frustrating day or a good day once every 3 days when you kind of get that spot play or whatever it might be. Now you gotta overcome the adversity fast when you have a bad day, but then also handle the success by not going too high or wherever it is when you do have a couple good days in a row, So again, we're going to be pretty inexperienced when it comes to the lineup. We got a really good senior class. I do want to highlight them: Cole Lyons, Peyton Swess, Gabe Dardar, great kids from great families.
Good leadership.
Absolutely. Their intent every day they show up to practice is exactly what we're looking for. And we're just hoping that carries down, and it has through the rest of the team. But, once we get the full team back with soccer to try to put this whole thing together. I will tell you this, we're going to show up and compete, and we're going to put 9 guys on the field that are ready to go to war with you, regardless of who's in the other dugout. So, I will guarantee that. That's the type of program we want to be. We want tempo and toughness, and, we preach on that every day.
Julio Archella, Terrebonne baseball.
So last year, we had a group of kids that really had been through a few different coaches in a short amount of time. So being here a second year and having the ability to just continue on with the way that we are trying to do things, the way we're trying to establish a program, it's only beneficial. Last year we had to learn how to win. We had to learn how to compete. We had to learn that, you don't just roll into the ballpark and It takes care of itself because, Terrebonne has always had a lot of talent, and I still stick by we have a lot of talent this year. We just needed to learn how to win last year, and the only way you can learn how to win is by getting beaten, not losing, but getting beat. So we lost 4 seniors, and all 4 of them mattered. You hear about who'd you lose, key losses. The 4 guys that we had, 2 of them played every day. And 2 of the other guys were more role players, but their leadership in the dugout is going to be missed. And I think they did a good job of increasing the leadership to the guys, or passing on the baton to the guys this year. We have a really good group of seniors. We have a really good group of juniors. And, we're starting to see that, some of those 8th graders are choosing to stay in the public school system. So that is a good thing. It's something that we were trying to accomplish. And, the kids that are going to go to the parochial schools, or they go to the select schools, like my kids, they were always going to go because of the faith base.
Right.
Whenever you're dealing with something that isn't necessarily faith-based, and we're trying to give them an option to come over here and compete and be part of a good product on the field, then, I think we're kind of starting to win that battle a little bit. Got a kid last year who was hurt, but he had also transferred, so he was the year he had to sit anyway, so he's eligible and he's ready to go. He's a lefty. Kid named Gavin Hebert. We got Kellen Zarang back. We got Tragan Sanders back. Of course, our catcher behind the plate, Reese, is back. No, we're missing Bennett Eichhorn. We're missing him for probably the next 6 weeks or so. He broke his thumb in a scrimmage a few weeks ago. But I got to give it to, again, the leadership there as he shows up to every practice. He's actually said, Coach, can I come to the JV games with y'all? And that's odd. But, just those guys wanting to be around the ballpark and wanting to be around the team. The games are the fun parts. It's where we're not playing is where we get better, where we win the games, and trying to get them to, you're trying to convince a bunch of teenagers that the work you put into something is the work you get out of. And obviously that's not the way that they were brought up. Instead of their travel ball mindset is now I'm just going to go play and I'm on the better team, so we're going to win. And that's not how this works. You're with the guys that we have, and we got to mold the guys around you to be better all around.
Shane Trosclair, Thibodeau baseball.
Yeah, so it's been, like I said, collaborative effort. Like all the guys that coming back from last year, guys who got some varsity experience and maybe watched Brody and Bryce Tomplay do their thing every day, not just in games, but their preparation every day, right? And then they started in August, and through fall ball with Coach Nakan and working every day and just doing their different things, or seeing their different, pitching trainers that we do at PPA with Tyler Nakan, Baton Rouge, and things like that. So watching those guys work and go about their business, knowing that they got to step up, has been a pleasure. But high school kids, what did you learn from it? You can see that they learned a lot because they're still talking the language, the vocabulary, and they're doing the things that we've done in the past. And it's really without a coach overlooking it and saying, hey, do this, do that. They already know what we got. The standards there, so they're working it. I love the character of our team. They're a joy to be around. And it's been a really, really good preseason, not just from rep standpoint or a scrimmage standpoint, but just from me going out and practice and looking forward to going out there and being around them and hanging out with them and watching them work and do about their business. We have a really good team of character. That's something we got. Now, we have some guys coming back from last year that got some varsity experience, that might even got some plate appearances in that Walker series in the playoffs. So that helps out a lot too, And we have a senior arm who started game 3 up in Walker. So he's back. So that's experience from those standpoints. And then the guys that are going to come in, after that, probably pitched a little bit of relief at Walker. So just getting their feet wet in that game 3 is going to hopefully pay dividends. I'm going to go be a dad on the weekend. So we're going to take our 32 games and play it Monday through Friday. Sometimes Monday through Thursday. It's like for opening week, Monday, Tuesday, double out of Thursday. That's 4 games in 4 days. So you have some depth, right? And that's what we did in the offseason, is how we're going to go about doing this, building the depth. I got 9 guys I'm very confident in, and they did it yesterday. We threw 9 guys on the mound yesterday. We should have had 10. One pulled a hamstring. And they went out there and they threw shutout baseball through 8 innings. So seeing the growth from there and the confidence that they have, we have some very confident group, and it goes with being a good character group, that they can go out and they know they're going to go in and be successful. So watching that and piecing those things together, again, 26 years of coaching, you could piece of staff together. It's not big, but you got to have guys that you can trust. And that's what I told them yesterday. I said, this is the guys that we're going to roll with. I trust you. Here's how our schedule is. Let's go do it.
Chad Menard, Vanderbilt Catholic baseball.
Well, it's about winning every day. The results come out on the field, and there's a standard. I like you put it that way, and not refer to the wins and losses, because there's so much more that goes into it. And the platform of baseball allows you to win in life, or to learn some life skills, to learn discipline, to be able to prepare, and then to go compete. Because in the real world, it's it's a competitive world out there to be successful. So just to learn strategies to put your best foot forward in all that you do, treat people right, and then give it to the Lord, and he's gonna, he already has our days numbered. He has our plan already. So we just trust in him, and do our part in it. And the great thing about it too is sharing the field with a group of men, the young men. Talk about the success since I've been here, but it's good people, and Vanderbilt's success goes way back before I came around. Part of something that we have in our program is called Ubuntu, and it talks about individual success is rooted in team success or group success. So our guys have bought into the system of Ubuntu, and celebrating their teammates' successes, and then putting their work in. So, it's been a pleasure to be a part. It's early. There's peaks and valleys and everything, but our kids have handled it really well. I think our kids have put in a great off season. They're more powerful, they're faster, and they play the game faster. We've had a couple of scrimmages and practice and stuff, but you can put a radar gun and a stopwatch and all that kind of stuff. And in a game of baseball, the separation is minute. And, that's why they play 162 games, because it takes a long time for the separation to occur. But just with all that being said, I think we play fast. We have played fast to this point. We have some strength to us. And I just think that's all kind of showing itself if you really look closely. But what needs to be corrected, if I were to put my finger on one thing, it's not so many strikeouts, putting the ball in play. But there's kind of a catch-22 or a caveat or whatever. So we may have struck out, punched out, whatever the proper is. But we still had tough at-bats. It's not like we're going in the box and it's 3 strikes and you're out.
Right.
It's really a 7, 8, 9 pitch at-bat battle that we've lost.
Thanks to all those coaches for taking their time to come in. Had a really terrific time. They came in, had lunch, came in, did interviews, gave us their schedules, gave us their rosters, also a preview sheet that we distribute to all the media in the area. So again, thanks to them. We wish them well. Baseball starts this upcoming weekend with all of the jamborees. And then next weekend, it will be softball starting. And next week, we'll have all of the softball coaches on and get an idea about what they might have to produce this upcoming season. I also mentioned at the beginning of the show, we were fortunate to have Stanley Smith on. Stanley Smith is the new football coach at H.L. Bourgeois High School. He comes with a really good resume. Here's Coach Smith talking about some of the things he hopes to accomplish at H.L. Bourgeois.
First of all, Coach, congratulations. Welcome to the area. First impressions as you meet with the kids from H.L. Bourgeois just recently.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited about being here, and the kids are ready to go to work. They're looking for somebody that has a goal and structure and strategy and things like that, and that's what I'm about.
It's only been a few days. If I'm not mistaken, you got there either last Wednesday or last Tuesday. You did have the opportunity to meet with all of the kids?
Right. I came down on Wednesday and met with the staff and met with the coaches, and today is actually my first day today on campus. So just trying to get here, get things done, meet kids, meet staff, and just trying to learn the lay of the land right now.
Listen, for people who don't know, you were a terrific football player over at Faraday, went over to UL, had a great career there at UL, and you've coached since that time. As a matter of fact, going back to your alma mater and winning a state championship. Talk a little bit about you.
I have a passion for it. It's all about building the kids up, using the football as the avenue for it. At the end of the day, we're not going to have SEC kids everywhere or Big 12 kids or NFL players. So, I like to use football as an avenue to make them professionals in other aspects of life, whether it's being, a banker or a doctor or a lawyer or a father. Those things are important. And we just use the game as an aspect to get them to get him to that path in life, you know. So, small town Faraday guy, had opportunity to go play college football and play some arena football, and got opportunity to get in coaching pretty young, and went to college football pretty early in my career, and life started life and then started having kids and things of that sort, and had to get back closer to home, and got into high school, and had a lot of success the last 5 years, and I'm excited about the opportunity to come here and build a program that pretty much has a blank canvas. It's just pretty much just waiting for somebody to come put their finishing touches on it. I'm excited about that.
Awesome. Listen, it's also a situation where you sort of specialize on the defensive side of the ball. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. What sort of your forte is related to whether it be offense, whether it be defense, whatever the case may be. What's your goal and what you specifically will be keeping an eye on with the HL football team?
Well, I'm a defensive guy, you know, so, you know, being a defensive guy, things are meticulous. Everything has to be in order, discipline, you know, accountability. Just doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. That's huge for me, you know, and being a defensive guy, you know, special teams and run games is very important, you know. So those are some of the things we're going to do. But, you know, I'm not saying we're not going to throw the football, but we're going to take our shots. You know, we're not just going out there just to, you know, call plays. It has to be a rhyme or reason and looking for green grass and, you know, take advantage of what other people are doing, you know. So I'll help out a little bit on the offensive side, but I'm pretty much a defensive guy.
Very good. And listen, for people who don't realize it, I know you are coming from an associate head coach position over in Mississippi at Adams County. But before that, you were at Faraday, as I mentioned, where you were the head coach, 2019, actually state champions in AA football. From a perspective of what you've seen at HL Bourgeois and what you had to do at Faraday, any comparisons, or was it more established maybe at one of the schools when you got there than the other school?
Well, actually, like I said, I really haven't had an opportunity to evaluate and assess things here yet. But just seeing the kids in the hall, I see some good-sized kids, some nice frames, just getting in the weight room and, you know, putting in the work because hard work pays off. And the weight room and conditioning is going to be a lifeline for us, you know. That fourth quarter, you have to be prepared for the fourth quarter. That's when you win and lose games at. And we're going to work hard this spring, this off season, get prepared for the fall. But in Faraday, you know, we had some special kids when I was there. And they bought into the program, bought into the system, and executed it and became a family. And I still, you know, talk to a lot of kids now that are finishing school and, you know, going into life. And that's what it's about, you know, that, you know, they appreciate the things that I did when I was there. You know, they didn't understand then, you know, but now they appreciate it.
Listen, it's also a situation where coming into town, as we mentioned, you've just been here for a few days, getting set up at HL Bourgeois. Listen, Faraday is a little bit too far. I'm not quite sure where Adams County is at for you to commute every day. How are you handling that right now? Or is it a situation where you're trying to do kind of a juggling act right now with where to live in the area and situation related to that?
Right now, I'm in a hotel. I'll be in a hotel for the first couple of weeks, and I'm working on getting a travel trailer, you know, here. Something that can be cost effective, you know, for me, and still have a family back home. My family hasn't moved down yet. Probably within the next year they'll be down. So I just got down last night, and I'll be here for the next 2 weeks, and hopefully when I come back, I have a trailer hooked up to my truck, get a location to stay at.
Awesome. The other situation is obviously when it comes to assistant coaches. So as much as you're trying to figure out the kids that you're going to have playing for you, you got to figure out that coaching situation. Is that a deal where you talk to each of the coaches maybe that were there, or how is that going to work related to you filling out a staff?
Right. So I came in, like I said, I met the coaches on Wednesday, and right now we're in the process of scheduling meetings so I can sit down and, you know, see what they want out of it, see what their goals are, you know, see if we can match up. And, you know, because at the end of the day, you're going to spend more time here than you are with your own families, you know, so it's going to have to be a commitment and a sacrifice. And, you know, hard work is the only way I understand how to be successful, you know. So everybody talking the same terminology and being on the same page is very vital.
Very good. Listen, Coach, we're excited to have you here. We look forward to the things you could do at HL Bourgeois High School. It's a school that I think has a lot of resources and a lot of kids that can play. So we're excited about you being here. Again, if you ever need anything on our end, make sure to let us know. But we certainly wanted the community to know a little bit about you and those things you hope to bring to HL Bourgeois.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
A big thanks to Coach Smith for giving up his time. Of course, he's just joining that staff over at HL Bourgeois. We hope he does well there on the reservation. That's it for our show today. Thanks to Dustin for everything. As he mentioned earlier, happy Groundhog's Day. Happy, what's the other one we said?
Play your ukulele day.
Play your ukulele day. So if you have your ukulele out, get it out and play it just a little bit. Again, we'll have all of those softball coaches from the area on next week, so you can get an idea of what your favorite high school might do in softball. And as always, we wish you the best this upcoming week. Go out and support a high school extracurricular activity. Those kids certainly deserve it. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week.